Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be checking out a video from HoodlumCallum, or if you're like me and watched his content back in the day, HoodlumScrafty, who is recently discovering non-Pokemon monster taming games. Now, one thing I do want to say is this video has come out now, but I know for a fact Hoodlum's been, having his eye on non-Pokemon monster taming games, just because I got notified when he subscribed to me. Via YouTube Studio. It'll show you like your largest subscribers in like the last 90 days or whatever, and he was one of them. I remember when he subscribed to me, I was like, oh snap. But yeah, so I know he's been looking for at least a few months, but he made a video recently talking about Cassette Beasts, and I think it's a really interesting thing to see a lot of Poketubers and other just YouTubers in general sort of look at these non-Pokemon monster taming games and actually take them seriously and not just throw Pokemon clone on them. So I wanted to react to this video. You guys sent this to me, and I figured, why not? Hoodlum deserves the attention anyway. So we're going to be going through the video, and let me know in the comments, by the way, if you like these sort of casual reaction styled videos. I can't put out crazy scripted edited content 7 days a week. So I do need a few days in between my more scripted videos. Like, for example, we have Mon Games You Never Knew coming out tomorrow. That takes more time and effort to put together than a video like this. So I like to kind of have these sort of unscripted, more chill videos in between my more scripted videos, because I feel like it adds an amount of variety to the channel and still allows for daily content. But anyways, we're going to check this out.
Times have changed since 1996. It feels like every other month there's a new monster catcher in development, and I'm personally here for it. But it wasn't
Yeah, he's right. There is, and so am I.
Always that way. Most of the content I cover here on my channel are ROM hacks of Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Some of which include fake Pokemon, or Fakemon for short.
Yeah.
I bring this up because I've seen a divide in people that play ROM hacks. A group I used to be a part of. People that cannot stand Fakemon. And to them, that's all these other monster catching games are.
So I do want to point one thing out. I would say that there is a third aspect to this as well. So there are ROM hack fans that love Fakemon games because it acts like a new, it feels like a new generation of Pokemon, right? There are ROM hack fans that don't like, Fakemon in their games. I personally kind of sit in between. Like, I like to have a mix. But I think there's also a camp that likes Fakemon, but won't try non-Pokemon monster taming games, which I just find crazy, because it's like, so you're willing to play a game like Uranium that has tons of Fakemon and other ROM hacks that are entirely Fakemon based, but you won't try Coromon or Nexomon. It doesn't really register in my head. It could be because they don't want to buy the games because they're just playing ROM hacks. But I've always found that weird. Like, I don't want to try those games because, they're not, the designs aren't that good. They're not as good as like Game Freak's designs. And it's like, half the games you're playing aren't like Game Freak's official designs either. So I've always found that kind of interesting. But anyways, let's continue.
At least that's how I felt. Believe it or not, there was once a time I would avoid games with Fakemon. I think it came from a place of hating those old playground rumors. I saw something that's not officially a Pokemon as a bad thing. Or maybe it was just the designs themselves.
Yeah, some Fakemon games have some wild designs.
Back in the day, they weren't convincing enough to immerse me in the gameplay.
Yeah,
whatever the reason may
that's
be.
fair.
I understand. However, playing games with Fakemon opened up my heart to trying other monster catchers. I'm still a baby to the genre. I've played Temtem, which I enjoyed a lot. I tried the demo for Lumentail, which was great, and most recently, I fell in love with Cassette Beasts.
Yes!
Cassette Beasts is an open world 2.5D turn-based monster catching RPG. Cassette Beasts is a
Please use the term monster taming. I'm trying to grow the genre. Monster catching's fine, whatever.
fresh take on the monster catching genre.
The more people use monster taming, the more people will find Monster Tamer news, and I will grow my army.
And while playing it, I never wanted it to end. There's a lot to talk about, so
That
how about we
traffic
just start
crab
at the
fusion.
beginning? You start up a new game, customize your character, and are flung through what I can only assume is outer space. The screen goes white, and you wake up on Harbour Town Beach.
It's less like outer space and more like the ultra wormholes, I'd say, because it's like parallel dimensions. And I believe New World is supposed to be like the the net at the bottom. But anyways, that's not what this video is about.
After a bit of exploring, if you head west, you'll see some sort of bridge with a girl on the other side. The camera pans back and you're being attacked by your first monster. The stranger rushes to your aid and tells you that this is Traffic Crab, and they don't take kindly to strangers, or anyone really. She hands a cassette player and headphones, then abruptly asks you your aesthetic: spooky or sweet. This, of course, is our starter selection, and while there's only 2 options, both starters have split evolutions depending on your preference, but we'll get to that later. Now, on the surface, most people would assume my aesthetic to be spooky, but if you really know me, you'll know it's sweet. And just like that, I have my first cassette tape. Okay, so unlike other monster catchers where you send monsters into battle for you, in Cassette Beasts, you use cassette tapes to transform into monsters that you record on blank tapes.
This is why I've always like. This is why I've always like had issues with people who want to gatekeep monster taming games. Like Cassette Beasts, you could technically say is not a monster taming game because you don't actually tame them. You transform into them. But like people who make assertions like that, or like if there's a game that revolves around like shape-shifting, sure, you're not actually catching them, but like how are you going to say that a game that plays exactly like a monster taming game like Pokemon, Nexomon, Monster Sanctuary, etc. isn't just because of a technicality of how monsters are obtained? It's like those people that say SMT isn't a monster taming game, it's a demon taming game. Like, shut up. But yeah, Cassette Beasts is cool. Continue.
This threw me through a loop a bit at first, but you'll get used to it. So you win your first battle, and the stranger that helped you through it introduces herself as...
Is that his Twitch thing? Joined the hood? That's jokes.
As Kaylee. Kaylee is the first of many partners you'll come across in Cassette Beasts. She drags you back to town and welcomes you home. You see, we're stuck here. Whatever you fell through at the start of the game dropped you on an island called New Wirral. Side note, the name New Wirral is from the actual area of the UK, Wirral, which is where I live. They go on to explain that
I didn't even know
where
that.
we are currently isn't strictly Earth. At least that's what they think, and there isn't any way to get back home. You see, the inhabitants of New Wirral are also from different worlds, and they've been trying for a century to find a way back home. Kaylee awkwardly reassures us that despite the awful news, we can have a good life here. There's community in Harbour Town, and we're safe. Well, apart from the monsters. They provide us a place to stay and some clothes that may not be from our time period, but it's all they've got. She invites us to go on patrol with her.
That's another cool aspect to Cassette Beasts. There's a lot of like meshing of different, places that are completely different, but also across time. You have some people from dimensions that are only in like the 1700s. You have some people from worlds that are, in the future. There's a robot character, for example.
After we say hello to our new neighbors. This is a good time to explain how the game mechanics work. Similar to Pokemon, there are 6 stats: HP, melee attack, melee defense, range attack, range defense, and speed. Both human characters and monsters have stats. The human stats are like a percentage that enhances the monster stats when you transform into them. By default, your base stats are 120 HP and 100 in the rest. But later on in the game, you can adjust your stats, which in turn will affect your monster stats too. The next thing you may notice is the level is applied to the player character rather than the monsters. That's not to say there isn't a way to level them up, because there is. But this is one of my favorite parts of the game. It allows you to use new monsters on a whim without...
Oh, he's got a magic crab. He was really playing this game.
If any at all. As for the monsters level up system, they gain EXP too, but instead of gaining levels...
Hoodlum Scrafty's Cassette Beast simp confirmed, and I'm all for it.
They gain stars, up to a maximum of 5. Side note, even if you reach 5 stars on your beasts, they'll still gain EXP and level up. They just visually remain on 5 stars.
I actually don't 100% know how it works, but they still continue to get stickers. I'm wondering if it's just like random stickers that they can learn, that they keep getting after 5 stars, or if there's like a pattern to it.
Once they reach 5 stars, if they're able to, you can remaster your Cassette Beast. This is essentially evolution, and upon evolving, your monster will have an appearance,
lots of bootlegs,
stat, and sometimes a type change.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Depending on the species, of course. One of my favorite things about Cassette Beasts is a lot of the monsters have split evolutions. There are various conditions for split evolutions, such as day and night, knowing a certain move, or just outright selecting which evolution branch you want to go down. Either way, I enjoyed seeing variants of the same basic premise.
So, okay, I do want to point this out, and this video it is about Cassette Beasts, but it's not just about Cassette Beasts. It's about my sort of reaction and thoughts to like, you know, Poketubers like Hoodlum or like, you know, other Poketubers I've covered in the past that have sort of dabbled in monster taming, like Munching. There's been others. Noggins actually talked a little bit about monster taming here and there, made a few videos about different monster designs and stuff. I honestly think that this is one of the most like, how do I put it? Like this isn't just like, oh, look at these monster taming games. I don't really know much about them. I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit for a video. Like, you can just see by what he's captured and what he's doing, and even like how he underlined Zephyr when it comes to evolving Masqueradle here.
Day and night, knowing a certain move.
See, you could see he actually really does, like, he has enthralled himself in Cassette Beasts, and this is something that you don't really see that much when, you know, people that aren't typically considered monster taming creators, you know, make a video or two about monster taming. So I'm actually really, really impressed by the amount of depth he's going into here.
Or just outright selecting which evolution branch you want to go down. Either way, I enjoyed seeing variants of the same basic premise. Each time a monster gains a star, they gain a new move and they gain a small buff to their stats. 2% each time for a total of 10% at 5 stars. Cassette Beasts attack come in the form of stickers.
See, even I didn't know it was 2%.
The sticker system is really cool. It's similar to TMs, but instead of being single use or infinite use, they're kind of like an item that you can give or take from your Cassette Beast.
Yeah, they're like
equipment.
equipment.
For a lot of customization. Your Cassette Beast can know up to 8 moves naturally, but there's certain rare stickers you may find that allow you to expand your moveset beyond the limit of 8. 8 may sound like a lot, but there's some stickers that give you buffs the more empty move slots you have. There's also passive stickers, which are essentially the equivalent of abilities. In Pokemon, your moves have power points. The stronger the move, the less power points you get. Cassette Beasts, however, use action points, which are these orange squares here. By default, at the start of each turn, you will gain 2 AP. So while your individual moves don't have limitations, you do. I really enjoy this system because you can come up with builds that allow you to gain so much AP each turn, which lets you spam really powerful moves.
Yeah, and it's not like one thing, one criticism I have of like the Temtem stamina system is a lot of the times you're working around stamina and hold and it just drags battles on. Whereas I feel like Cassette Beast did a really good job with their increasing AP over time as opposed to starting with a high stamina bar and just spamming moves. And then even like in a lot of stamina based games, you eventually get to a level where stamina is just a second thought anyway.
It's so rewarding. There's a total of 14 types in Cassette Beast.
And they're cool types. Like Beast, Astral, Glass, Glitter, Plastic. Like those are some unique typings and I love it.
And while most of the types are similar to what you'd see in Pokemon design-wise, mechanically they are very different. In Pokemon, you're looking to do super effective damage. It's similar in Cassette Beasts, except instead of huge damage being dealt when you hit a super effective move, you apply a debuff. There are a lot of debuffs, too many to cover, but this game does a phenomenal job at explaining what each of them do as they appear.
Yeah, you never
As
feel
for not very
confused
effective
about
moves,
debuffs.
They apply buffs. There's also a third interaction that can happen, and that's when the attacker's move changes the defender's type. The best way to understand is to give examples. If you use a fire type move on a metal type monster, they will be debuffed with the burn status for 3 turns. Burned monsters take 10% damage at the end of their turn. If you use a fire type move on a water type monster, they will be buffed with the healing steam status for 3 turns. Monsters with healing steam regain some health at the start of each turn. And lastly, if you use a fire type move on a plastic type, their coat changes and they become a poison type.
Or poison or
plastic
whatever.
Can release pollutants.
I love how their color changes too.
The most daunting thing about playing a new monster catcher is learning the type matchups, but thankfully Cassette Beast made it easy. They provide you with the type chart, which you can access during battle, and on top of that, they visually show when you're about to attack, what buff, debuff, or type change will happen. Cassette Beasts only have one type, unless they fuse with another. The fuse mechanic is insane. It's a temporary effect that lasts the whole battle as long as your monster doesn't faint. And unlike Pokemon, where only a limited amount have access to a regional gimmick, Cassette Beasts allows all of their monsters to fuse with each other in any order you like. As of writing, there are 128 catchable Cassette Beasts, which means there are a total of 16,384 possible fusions. There's more to fusing that we'll cover soon.
Oh yeah.
Let's just check back in on this.
And then if you include the bootleg variants, it's in the millions.
There was some kind of earthquake or monster activity which caused there to be cracks in the ground, and you'll be investigating it. You encounter a spring heel and learn some basics about battle. The green bar is our monster form's health, while the red bar is ours. If a form loses all of its health in a fight, its tape will break and need repairing. Upon the tape breaking, any extra damage that would have been done to the tape will be applied to us, and if both of us lose all of our health, you have to retreat back to Harbor Town. One unique aspect of Cassette Beasts is the overworld. There are plenty of puzzles to solve and 6 abilities to gain to be able to traverse.
It's almost
New World
Zelda-like.
fully. After solving the simple push the green button puzzle, Kaylee allows you to take the lead and officially becomes your partner, registering her monster Sirenade to your bestiary. That's your Pokédex. After some light exploring, Kaylee finally teaches you about the catch system. She starts by handing you some basic tapes, then goes on to explain that the monsters of New World, when weakened, can have their essence recorded to cassette tapes. Nobody knows entirely how it works, but it does. There were a few factors to consider when recording a monster. How healthy the monster is, its level and rarity, how much damage dealt while recording, how much damage the person took while recording. You heard that correctly. When you're recording a monster, you have to leave your monster form for that turn. Whoever remains in their monster form has the job of applying as much damage as they can. The more damage dealt that turn, the more likely they are to stay. And don't worry about knocking out your target. Monsters being recorded cannot faint that turn unless the recording is successful. While recording the monster, it tells you the exact percentage chance of success. I love this because you know if you could be doing something more to increase your odds rather than blindly hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Just like in Pokemon, there are shinies in this game. They're referred to as bootlegs, and I was told the odds of finding one are 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing that makes bootlegs special, however, is they're more than just the color swap. Each monster has 14 bootleg variants, one of each type. On top of that, bootleg monsters are more likely to learn rare moves with additional effects. This makes them so valuable, and it's definitely worth it to hunt for them. There are ways to increase your chances of finding them too, so don't get too discouraged.
Ritual candles
by the
give you
1 in 1,000
100% chance of finding
After
them.
learning how to catch monsters, I filled up my party with them, and only then was I ready to continue Kaylee's patrol. Walking up to the area we were sent to investigate, and the entrance to a train station popped up.
Let's get all the
in front of us.
shinies
Kaylee informs
before
us that
doing
this isn't
anything.
normal, but we go inside anyway. After some looking around, we find the train tracks, which has this strange air about them. This is where we meet our first Archangel, Morgante. She appears to be looking for someone or something called Mordred, referring to it as child and her kin. She says the long conflict has drawn to an end, and she's afraid he has defeated her. Truly this time. Kaylee realizes this is an Archangel and thinks that we should leave. However, before we can, a nearly defeated Morgante challenges us to a battle. She's level 100, but her HP is so low that maybe we stand a chance. The tutorial teaches us that Archangels let their AP build up to a maximum of 10, so that they can unleash a powerful attack.
Yeah.
It's recommended to beat an Archangel before it reaches 10, or make sure you have a solid defense. One of the best defenses in the game are walls. They're similar to substitutes in the regard that they sacrifice some HP to make them, except they expire after a certain amount of turns or hits taken.
Yep.
Walls are also affected by type effectiveness. For example, if I have a steel wall up and my opponent uses a fire type attack,
it'll
the
get rid
wall
of
will
it.
immediately disappear rather than the number ticking down. Certain types of monsters can set up walls if they're hit with a move that buffs them. For example, fire type move hitting an air type move would create an air wall. Back to the battle.
Yeah, that's the only type
Kaylee
it happens
decides
to.
She doesn't want to die, and she'll do anything it takes to survive.
Although
This
I
is
think
when
if
our
you
heart
have,
fact is 1.
I think if you have an air wall and someone hits it, you also get more stacks regardless of your type.
And be fused for the first time. Fusing makes you more powerful, and the closer you are.
Also, I don't want to downplay how epic this moment is. So Morgante is like, and all of the Archangels are like these really creepy, just, they don't look like they belong in Cassette Beasts. And that goes so well with like the sort of alien, alternate dimension type of theme that they're going for. Even like with the monster designs already look alien, right? Then on top of that, you have these Archangels that just look off, right? And it's all led by, it's all led up to by this like train station that's just eerie, and like they do such a good job of taking familiar things and just distorting them and making them creepy. Cassette Beasts, honestly, guys, if you've played it on Switch, I know there were some issues with performance and whatnot, but I've said this in the past, Cassette Beasts is actually like a masterpiece monster taming game. A lot of monster taming games like Nexomon and stuff, a lot of people will say, oh, it's better than like gens past 5 of Pokemon. I don't think anyone can argue that Cassette Beasts can stand next to early gen Pokemon games as well. It's that good of a game. Like it breaks through the nostalgic barrier that people feel towards older Pokemon games and sits atop, you know, the throne with them, you know?
To your companion, the more powerful you are as a fusion. This is determined by the relationship mechanic. Each of your companions have 5 hearts to fill in. It's even possible to date them if you're into that. I personally wasn't going to date any of them because I don't like myself insert dating a video game character, but
I'm the same way.
Achievements you can get is to date at least one of them, so I did.
I wanted to see what would happen at the ending, so I ended up dating the one that has a high special attack stat.
From a gameplay perspective, when you fuse, you gain 4 AP each turn instead of 2, and you also have access to all of the moves of both tapes combined. And of course, your stats are added together. I didn't even go over the best part of being fused. When you fuse, the music changes to have vocals, which are phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah. It's such a seamless transition.
Honestly,
too.
The music in this game in general is just so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be weird if a game called Cassette Beasts didn't have great music. Now we're a more powerful being, and with a little bit of what I can only assume is plot armor, we defeat our very first Archangel. Upon defeating her, she asks why we came here, to which I answer I want to find a way off the island. She reveals that there is in fact a way off, but only she knows of it. So we make a deal with her. She requires a vessel, and we require a guide. We're to rebuild her strength, and in turn, she'll lead us off this land. The hints to where we need to go are in the form of a song, of which I was informed are randomized per save file.
Yeah, they are.
There isn't just one set final destination in this game,
which is
dope.
There are
several, of which is determined right as you create your save data. Side note, there is an NPC that gives you a free bootleg.
Yes.
That is also randomized per save file. After hearing Morgante's song, Kaylee takes us back to the cafe, which is essentially our Pokemon Center. She blushes over fusing with us and explains that the first people to wash up on the shores of New World thought monsters were angels, and some of them wrote of other entities too, greater than the others. Creatures that look and feel wrong. They named those other creatures Archangels. When the people learned that they could fight and defeat regular angels, they lost their angelic allure and over time are simply referred to as monsters. The Archangels, however, kept their name. Nobody knows what they are. Nobody has seen one in a really long time. Kaylee encourages us to join the Ranger training program in order to become stronger to fight other Archangels. The Rangers in this game function like gym leaders. Yeah. And that is when the tutorial ends. And the game
they're like
fully
a mix
opens up
between
for you to
trial
explore
captains
at your own leisure.
and gym
of course,
leaders
your exploration is slightly limited by which overworld abilities you have, but you are free to do whatever you like. Take on any quest in any order. There are no rules. From this point on, your main objective is to find other Archangels and defeat them so you can get more clues as to how to get off of New World. But of course, there's more to the game than just that. There's the Rangers, like I just mentioned. You have other partners to find and help with their own mission. And there's 128 Cassette Beasts for you to find and capture. When I started making this video, I had to decide what my goal with it was. I determined I really just wanted to share my love for this game and encourage all of you to check it out.
Yeah,
so for
definitely
that reason,
check it out.
I'm gonna avoid sharing more of my experience beyond.
I'll leave this video
to experience it on
and Cassette Beasts on Steam linked below.
Your own, and if you really want to watch videos on it, I'll have a link to my playlist of my playthrough in the description. Personally, I have 66 hours in the game right now, and I have nearly 100% completed it in terms of achievement. The game is on Nintendo Switch, Steam, and Xbox Game Pass. It's only $20, which is an absolute
worth
steal.
it.
If you're able to get it, I would.
DLC is coming too.
I haven't even mentioned that online multiplayer and DLC was announced for Cassette Beasts. As of writing, there isn't a release date, but when it's out, I'll definitely be down to battle and trade monsters with you guys.
And I'll keep you guys updated on as to when it comes out. That's kind of what we do here on the channel.
Go play this game and be sure to come back to the comments after you play it and let me know how much you enjoyed it.
All right, so let's just get out of here for a sec. So I think that was honestly a really good video from Callum, well put together. And on top of all of that, it does really seem like he knows what he's talking about. Like, he's not just, hey guys, there's Cassette Beasts, it's Pokemon, but with cassettes. Here you go. Like, that was actually a really in-depth video. You could tell he's had hype for this game. There's no doubt about that. Like he really enjoyed it, which I love to see. This is a very well put together video. Callum, if you're watching, great video, man. I know I'm sucking him off a little bit, but I did want to go on to one thing that he mentioned in his description. It was kind of like the first thing I noticed, and it was part of the reason why I wanted to cover this. He said, in the past, I let my loyalty to Pokemon get in the way of trying other games in the monster catching genre. However, since playing ROM hacks with Fakemon, I've changed my mind. Here's my opinion with the recently released Cassette Beasts. So a lot of fans feel like they sort of have this like obligation or loyalty to not betray Pokemon. And it's kind of an interesting thing that they got going on, because playing ROM hacks and just ROMs in general, in a way, you could consider as like going against what the Pokemon company wants. So like, I feel like that's not much different than playing other games altogether. Now, obviously, people, when they say they don't want to betray Pokemon, they don't mean the business. They mean like the world. I don't think that you have to betray Pokemon in order to, like, you don't, like, being loyal to Pokemon and loving monster taming games are not mutually exclusive. I'm personally, right now, I've spent hundreds of dollars. I rebought Pokemon Colosseum and XD, games that I had in my childhood. I'm buying Leaf Green, a game that I didn't have, but I need because I'm trying to do a Gen 3 National Dex, minus the Mythicals, which I might just Game Shark in, to be honest, like the events. But like I have a love for Pokemon, especially older Pokemon titles, but I don't feel like I'm going against Pokemon by covering Nexomon, Coromon, and all these other games, because at the end of the day, there's enough love to go around. Lots of Pokemon fans will play other monster taming games. So if you are a Pokemon fan and you think that like you're not being loyal to Pokemon by playing these other games, I think that's nonsense. Play as many games as you want. I know a lot of people have this almost like absurd relationship with Pokemon as an IP and as an idea, because it really did cement itself in a lot of our childhoods, and I'm one of those people. But all I want to say is, like, feel free to try as many monster taming games as you want. Monster taming is not inherently anti-Pokemon, the same way, you know, you're not betraying Call of Duty by playing Battlefield, right? So, you know, that's all I have to say for this video. This video did end up being a lot longer than I expected, but it was a really good video by Callum. And, you know, I'm not sure if Callum's gonna really dive into a lot of monster taming games, but he's definitely welcome to check out more as they come out. And I look forward to watching more of his videos. So, again, if you guys do want me to do more reaction videos like this, I've been getting a lot of videos that you guys have been requesting me to react to. Let me know in the comments if there's any other types of videos like this that you want, sort of, I guess you could say, like a monster taming veterans perspective on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and take it easy. Bye.